Example number 73. Given the function y1 is equals to 10x and y2 is equals to x squared over 10. Part A, sketch the area enclosed between the two curves. Part B, determine the area you found you sketched in part A. Then part C, find the coordinates of the centroid of the area. Are we together? So the first thing is to sketch. How do you sketch the curve? When you want to sketch the curve, you are looking for the points of intersection first, isn't it? At the point of intersection, you know that y1 is equals to y2 at the point of intersection. At the intersection point. So at the point of intersection, the two curves will be equal. Are we together? Because you want to sketch them, you must know where they are meeting, isn't it? So at the point of intersection, they are equal. Meaning at the point of intersection, y1, which is 10x, is equals to y2, which is x squared over 10. So you can get rid of the denominator by multiplying both sides by 10 to get rid of that denominator, isn't it? So you have 100x is equals to x squared. So what is this? This is quadratic. You see, it is x squared. If you take 1 on the other side, minus 100x is equals to 0. Quadratic. You factorize x outside, you get x into x minus 100 is equals to 0. Are we together? So it means either x is equals to 0 or x minus 100 is equals to 0. Then x minus 100 therefore means x is equals to 0 or x is equals to 100, isn't it? Are we together? Are we together? Yes. Good. Now from here, when x is 0, what is y? You use any of the two equations because they are equal, isn't it? When x is 0, y is 0. When you put 0 where x is, you get y to be 0. Because point of intersection they are equal, you use either of the two equations, isn't it? When x is 0, y is 0. Then so you can say this is x1, y1 for the first point of intersection. So you found this point of intersection to be 0. 0. Then you go to the next one. When x is 100, y is what? Y is 1000. 10 times 100 or 100 squared divided by 10, 1000. Now you see that? So what is the point of intersection? 100, 1000. So you have found the 2 points of intersection. Having determined the point of intersections, then you are good to go. Because these two equations, both of them are parabola. Very easy to sketch. A parabola is very easy to sketch. Are we together? Remember, if you have a parabola, y is equals to ax squared. If you want to sketch a parabola, y is equals to ax squared. It means if you look for the square root of both sides, y must be a positive value when you will be sketching, isn't it? So it means it is a parabola curving along the y-axis, where all y's are positive. Are we seeing how to sketch parabola? Are we together? Then if you have a parabola when when x is equals to y squared. Not when x is equals to y squared. You can see when x is equals to ay squared. So it means when you look for the square root on both sides, that one means what? All x values are positive, isn't it? So it is a parabola curving like that. Have you seen that? Are we together? So if you add these two parabolas, they are like this. But in our case here, we only have one parabola, and this is equation of a straight line passing through the origin. Have you seen that? That is equation of a straight line. So we have the parabola y is equals to ax squared. That is meaning our a is 1 over 10, isn't it? Are we together? Our a is 1 over 10. Then we draw that straight line. So the straight line, you don't need to waste your time. You know the straight line must pass through these 2 points, isn't it? Yes. The straight line must pass through those 2 points. So let us sketch that. So you know the straight line is passing through the origin like that. the point when x is 0, then it is meeting this parabola y is equals to x squared over 10 or ax squared is the parabola which we've seen is curving like that. Are we together? So when you label this parabola, this is the parabola given by y2 to be x squared over 10. Then this is the line given by y is equals to 10x. Are we together? Are we together? Good. So after you sketch the two, this is the region bounded by the two, and they are intersecting at this point. At this point, x is 0. At this point, x is what? X is 100. So have you seen you've dealt with part A, sketching the area enclosed between the two curves. You found this area enclosed between those two curves. The line you've labeled, the line y is equal to 10x, the parabola you've labeled, it was y1, isn't it? You've labeled the parabola y2 is equal to x squared over 10. Are we together? This case was simple because one was a line, one was a parabola. But their case, when both of them will be parabolas, isn't it? You also need to know how to sort out such case. Part B, after sketching, part B you've been told to determine the area. To determine the area of that region bounded by those two curves, isn't it? Part B is to determine the area of that region. So, how do we determine the area of that region? The area is given by what? We are integrating from A to B of f of x d. If we are integrating with respect to x. So with respect to x, we are taking the limits of x. Meaning we are going to take the limits of x 0 to 100. Are we together? Then what is f of x? Y is a function of x. Meaning f of x is y. So the area is y dx. Are we together? The area is y dx. It's given by the integral of y dx. So start. What is this y? That is what we need to determine, isn't it? What is the curve defining this area? The curve defining this area is the curve, upper curve minus the lower curve, isn't it? Are you seeing the one curving on the upper region? The one curving on the upper region is the straight line, y1. Have you seen that? So we have y1 is equals to 10x is the one which is on the upper region. Then the one curving on the lower region is the parabola, isn't it? The one curving on the lower region is y2, which is 1 over 10 x squared. Are we together? Yes. So for you to get the curve defining that area, it is the curve in the upper region minus the curve in the lower region to get the curve defining that area. Are we together? You get the curve defining the area. Meaning y1 minus y2 gives you y or y3. Are we together? That y is now the curve defining that area. It is the upper curve minus the lower curve. So y1 minus y2, you get your y you are looking for. Is that okay? Good. So you find y to be equals to 10x minus 1 over 10x squared, isn't it? Are we together? So it is this 10x minus 1 over 10x squared.
Yes.
So that is your y. So when you want the area after getting this y, you get the area to be, do the substitution now. We found the curve y is 10x minus 1 over 10x squared. So having found that, substitute in the equation. Substitute to get area. So this is area. So we have area is supposed to, we are integrating with respect to x. These are limits of x. Are we together? So x is starting from 0 and ending at 100. So we are integrating from 0 to 100. And y, defining this area, we found to be 10x minus 1 over 10x squared. Are we together? 10x minus 1 over 10 x squared. So then we have our dx. So let us start integrating. If you integrate 10x, what do you get? So you get 10x squared over 2, isn't it? You add 1 to the power, then you divide by 2, isn't it? 10 squared over 2, then it is minus. If you integrate that, we have 1 over 10. If you integrate x squared, you get x cubed over 3. Then you put your limits. Your limit is from 0 to 100. Is that understood? Good. After that, can you now substitute? Can you now substitute to get that area? When x is 100, you start from there, isn't it? When x is 100, what do you get to be the upper limit? Where there is x, you put 100. So it is 100 squared times 10 divided by 2, isn't it? Minus. You know how to do it. You simply go to the calculator and you see, in simple form, let me show you what to do. 10 divided by 2 is 5x squared. Okay? Then we have minus x cubed over 30. 10 times 3 is 30. So that is the simplest form, isn't it? From 0 to 100. See, you simplified it. Are we together? So go to the calculator and say 100 is equals to 100. Then you say 5 answer squared minus answer cubed over 30. What do you get to be the answer when the x is 1? When answer is 100? You have 16,666.67. Then minus lower limit, isn't it? When answer is 0, you get 0 minus 0, meaning the lower limit is just 0. So you just remain as that to be there. Are we good? So what is the area? 16,666.6. So you get the area to be 16,667.67. Good. Are we together? So we've determined the area. You go and record it up there. The area, part B, the area which is given by the integration from A to B y dx, we found is 16,666.67. Are we together? Then we happily go to part 3, isn't it? We happily go to part C. Part C of the question. What do they want there in part C? The coordinates of the centroid of the area, isn't it? The coordinates of that. So they want the coordinates of the centroid of the area. Are we together? So for you to get the coordinates of the centroid of the area, you start. What did we say? You put area over area, isn't it? You start by putting area over, which is y dx. Then you integrate from A to B, y dx. Are we together? So if you want x bar, it means you add x in the numerator. Is that okay? Yeah. And you can see, when we are integrating with respect to x, x is taking the whole part, isn't it? A half a part is left outside, a half a part is left inside. So x is whole. Are we together? Are we together? Yes. We defined that formula. So are you seeing what is in the denominator, which is the area, we've already found in part B. Are we together? We've already found in part B, meaning what we need to get is this numerator to get x bar, isn't it? So what is this numerator? This denominator, which is this. So it means we are going to remain with the integral from A to B of xy dx over this area. We found it to be 16,666.6. We've already found it in part B. So what we are interested in that numerator only, isn't it? Are we together? So when we are integrating with respect to x, meaning this y must be in terms of x. And y defining this region, we found it. Are you seeing? Yes. Are you seeing y defining the region? The y defining the region is 10x minus 1 over 10 x squared. Is that okay? Good. So can we deal with that? We have the integral from A to B of x of xy, but y defining the region is what? 10? 10x minus 1 over 10x squared dx. So you can see everything is in terms of x. Are we together? Then you put your limits of x from a to b. Put your limits start. What was a? It was from 0 to 100. Then open the bracket. X times 10x, you get 10x squared. Then minus 1 over 10. X times x squared, you get x cubed. So that is what we are integrating with respect to x, isn't it? Have you seen that? Good. So if you integrate that, what do you have? If you integrate that, start. So if you integrate x squared, you get x cubed over 3, isn't it? Are we together? Then it is minus 1 over 10. If you integrate x cubed, you get x to raise to the power 4 over 4, like that. Then you put your limit is from 0 to 100. So if you simplify this, you get 10x cubed over 3. 10 times 4 is 40, isn't it? Minus x raised to power 4 over 40. Then you put your limit 0 to 100. So when x is 100, what is the upper limit? When x is 100. When x is 100, you found the upper limit to be 833. Here I'm seeing you have 833,000, isn't it? Yes, 833,000. 330.3. Then it is when x is 0, you get 0. Then it is minus lower limit, which is 0, meaning you remain with that, isn't it? The upper limit is this, the lower limit is 0. So it is this minus 0, meaning that is the answer. Are we together? Are we together? We are together? Yes. Good. So after that, we now go back and get our x back. Meaning where there is integral of x, y, dx, the whole of this, we found it to be this numerator, isn't it? Are we together?
Yes.
So can you substitute this numerator you found? You found this numerator to be 833.3. Are we together? We are done with x bar. Let's go to y bar. Let's go to y bar. And we are very happy when these things are coming out, isn't it? We are very happy. There's no reason for you not to be happy when you are getting the right thing, isn't it? So you know, you start by putting area, which is y dx, over area, which is y dx. So if you want y bar, you simply multiply the numerator by y, meaning you are going to get y squared in the numerator, isn't it? And you can see y bar. If the centroid was here, if here was the middle, you can see x bar is that, and that is y bar. So you see x bar, a half is inside, a half is left outside, and a half is left inside. So it's x bar took the whole of it, isn't it? But you can see y bar, there's part which is left outside and the part which is left inside. So y is just a half, isn't it? Y is from here up here, but the curve is ending up there. Are you seeing that? So y bar is a half of that formula. We talked about that, isn't it? Are we together? So what do we get? This downer, this integral in the downer region is the area. We already found it. Are you seeing that? Yes. We already found this to be. What did we find this to be? 16,000.67. So what we need to find is this numerator, isn't it? What we need to find is the numerator. So what is the numerator? The numerator here is a half integral of a to b of y squared dx. A a half integral of a to b of y squared dx. So what is your y defining the region? 10x minus 1 over 10x squared, isn't it? Are we together? So when it is y squared, it means you have a half, then you are integrating from a to b. Y squared is 10x minus 1 over 10x squared, then it is squared with respect to, isn't it? It is that y value which has been squared. And y, the whole of this is y. So if you square both sides, you get y squared. So can you expand that bracket? If you expand that bracket, we are going to get a half, then we are integrating from a to b. 10x times 10x, you get 100x squared, isn't it? Then 10x times negative 1 over 10x squared. See, 10 goes with 10, remain with x cubed, minus x cubed. Then minus x cubed again, you get minus 2x cubed. Then this times the other one plus 1 over 100x raised to power 4. That is a quadratic identity. You know how to deal with it, isn't it? That is a quadratic. Remember quadratic identity, what I'm trying to say, you have a minus b squared, which is supposed to be a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Are you seeing that? Yes. So there you have 10x minus 1 over 10x squared. So what is your a? Your a is 10x. So 10x squared is 10 squared x squared, which is 100x squared, isn't it? Then here is 2ab. A is 10x, b is this. So 2 times 10x, 20x times negative 1 over 10 x squared. So you get negative 2x cubed. See, that is what we found. Then here b squared. B is negative 1 over 10 x squared. So if you square negative, it's positive. If you square 1 over 10, you get 1 over 100. If you square x squared, you get x raised to power 4. See, that is what we have there. Are we together? Good. So can you now integrate this and get me the answer? Can you now integrate that? So if you integrate this, you get a half into, if you integrate x squared, you get x cubed over 3, isn't it? Then minus 2, if you integrate x cubed, you get x to power 4 over 4, isn't it? Then plus 1 over 100. If you integrate x raised to power 4, you get x raised to power 5 over 5, isn't it? Then you put the limits is, what were our limits say to be? 0 to, from 0 to 100, the x limits, isn't it? So here we have from 0 to 100. So can you substitute those limits and get me the value of x? Remember there's a half outside the bracket, isn't it? Good. Substitute those limits. When x is 100, just put 100 is equals to 100, then you go a half into 100 answer cubed over 3 minus 2 answer raised to power 4 over 4. Then plus answer raised to power 5 over 500. Remember 100 times 5 is going to be 500, isn't it? $666,000, yes? 666.67. Very good. You see, you found the numerator, isn't it? Have you confirmed that? Good. They have confirmed it. We found 1,666,666.6. You found the same thing. Yes. Confirm that, we found that. So it means this integral, look here, this integral of a half a to b y squared dx, the whole of this integral we found it to be the whole of this numerator, isn't it? So the whole of this numerator we found to be 1,666,666.67. Can you now give me the x value and the y value? Start dividing. Start with X. 833,333.3 divided by 16,666.67. What do you get? You are? 50.
Yes.
You see? Very simple. Very easy. So X is 50. Then we go to Y. Do the same for Y.
Y is 100.
100.
Yes.
Life is very easy, isn't it? So, look here. That is the coordinate of the centroid. The X coordinate of the centroid is? 49.9. That is 50. 100. So you can see the coordinate of the centroid X bar, Y bar is 50, 100. And you can see the X value is between here. And you see between 0 to 100 is around 50, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is not necessarily the midpoint of 150 because these are curves. Are you seeing?
Yes.
Then you can see here was when X was 100, Y was 1000. Are you seeing here was 1000? Meaning here 100 is somewhere down here, isn't it? Are we together? Are we together? So we are very right. If you are very happy, you go to the next question when you are very happy, isn't it?